Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite DPS tank, Gung Ho Guns here. And yes, the legendary mustache is still along for the ride. In today's video, we're kicking off our series Tank versus Dungeon, starting off with the Voidwastes. I'll walk you through how to tank this properly, make it look as easy as convincing a DPS player to blame the healer for their mistakes. So sit back, grab your shields, my friends, let's get it. All right, thank you guys very much for being here. Let's get started. So again, they didn't change much of the opening stuff apart from the last boss for this dungeon. So the first thing that I would say is if you are a tank, make sure that you have your pool or your chains and look for the guardians. What I mean by that is you're going to notice some of these, like for example, there's a tracker. The guardians have an ability where they can actually pull you or one of your members into the light where they can potentially kill you and things like that. I just find that it's a lot, easier for the group if you pull them. That's pretty much the full mechanic here. Apart from the mini bosses, you just want to keep a track of, again, the tracker and all the mobs. And when you see the guardian, you just want to pull them to yourself. As you get to the mini boss, nothing's really changed again for the mini bosses. What you want to do is what I like to do is I like to pull the add one of them to the other, and then after you kill them, the first boss is up. Remember, in the first mini boss, do not move until all the lights come down, and then you can find your way out of there. And then on the second mini boss, just again, tell the team which side you're going to. I normally like to take the south, just open that, light, and the whole group can escape. We have a lot of damage in my group, so we actually kill them before they even do any mechanics. Let's move on to the main boss, because again, we're all here just for that. All right, main boss time, Shakarax. I think that's how you pronounce it. They made this boss way easier than the original. As long as you pay attention to two key things, this will be super easy. I'll break this down from a tank's perspective, but honestly, any character can handle this fight if you know what to watch out for. So look, we'll go over the steps again to make this a breeze. Step 1, and as a tank, or really any melee range, pay attention to the breath mechanic like before. It's very crucial. This is the number one step here, is pay attention to it. This move targets whoever is closest to the boss when it triggers. It's not aggro based or anything like that. It doesn't care if you're a tank or a DPS. Whoever is closest to the boss when it triggers, they will get this move on them. That's when you need to pay attention. So personally, as a tank, I always make sure, or I try my best to be the closest to the boss when these things occur so I can control the breath. However, sometimes a tank might teleport in and boom, cancel the whole plan, right? So just again, as a tank, make sure that all your melee players are on the same page. If it accidentally triggers on them, make sure they know what to do. Let's move on to step 2. Step 2, beating the breath mechanic. Now, let's talk about how to actually handle this breath attack. Like before, the person who gets the breath will have a ball over their head, but this time it's golden, just like so. Fancy, right? So here's what you need to know. Around the arena, you will find these horns placed all around. We just need to find 2 of them. These are our targets, and lucky for you, they will also have golden balls over them as well, making them impossible to miss, just like so. Here's the play. Position yourself and the boss just outside the first marked horn before the breath attack starts. Again, you have a few seconds to do this. Once the boss begins to get larger, the animation, starts kind of happening. Of course, it's like extra dramatic now. You'll have plenty of time to start moving from one side to the other, okay? Slowly guide the breath from the first marked horn into the other one, making sure the breath hits both of the horns to destroy them. That's the full mechanic. It's really not as stressful as it sounds. Take your time. Again, you have some time before you can actually move the boss to position him correctly for the first horn, okay? Line him up and watch the mechanic work. I'll show you an example of how I've handled it for better understanding, and I'll actually slow it down a little bit so it's easier to see. All right, here's the example. As you see right now, I got the ball on me. So as soon as I see it on my head, I'm looking for those 2. That's the first one, and I'm positioning myself just a little outside it, just so you can kind of get the edge, and then I'm going to run left to get the other one as well. I see him kind of getting bigger, and I will just walk over to the other side. You should actually do this a little slower. I did it too fast because you can bug it out. But again, that is the full mechanic right there. Step 3, the other key mechanic is the purple beam. The second major mechanic, again, that you have to deal with will happen throughout the entire fight. Those horns around the arena, 3 of them will start channeling purple beams into the boss. And here's the kicker. Those beams stack. If either you or the boss reaches 30 stacks from it, it's game over. You personally will die instantly at 30 stacks. However, if the boss hits 30 stacks, he just swipes the entire group, one-shot style. So here's how to beat it. What you want to do is you want to have 3 people in front of the purple beams, pretty much to step in and soak up the stacks. Each person should take up to 25 stacks and then move out of the beam's way. This keeps the boss from ever hitting 30 and keeps the party alive. Alternatively, if you have a better communication in your group, you can actually rotate players out at 15 stacks. One person 15, the next person 15, and so forth and so forth. Either strategy works fine. Again, pick what works for your group. As a tank personally, I will usually step in and take one of the beams myself. I will soak up to 25 stacks and then move out of harm's way. Again, that pretty much works perfectly for me and the groups that I've been a part of so far. Let's move on. Step 4, the black hole vortex. Again, this is more for DPS and rage characters. It's not really for us, but it's important to know how this works. This one's especially, again, important for ranged players. During this fight, the boss will randomly target someone and drop a black hole vortex at their feet, and it looks just like that. These vortexes drag players towards them and they deal damage while you're in it, and it could actually kill somebody if they're not careful. That targeted player will also have an indicator over their head, by the way, letting them know they're the ones that have been chosen for the vortex. Here's how you handle it. If you are lucky, the lucky chosen one, if you will, simply move to the edge of the arena away from everybody and then wait for the vortex to leave your head, like over your head. Once that buff disappears, drop it there and then run back to the center. You want to really take this away from people because, again, it's going to kill everybody. Keep this in mind, by the way. At 50% HP, things get trickier, and I mean on the boss, 50% HP. 2 DPS players will then start randomly getting chosen to drop these vortexes. And normally the way it works is it's the ranged players. So again, just run to 2 edges of the fight, drop them, move on, kill the boss. Again, as a tank, we really don't have too much of this, but it's good to know what the hell they're doing, right? Anyway, let's move on. All right, final step. These are smaller mechanics. Again, don't underestimate them. They won't kill you right away, but if you are low HP, it can actually kill you in these. So you want to help your healers out here if you can. Number 1 thing to watch out for is your Q ability for the block. Again, the first one looks the same. Regular block, you'll notice is the big purple circle. If you time it correctly, you can block that one, no stress. The second one, it looks like a diamond indicator, just like so. This one's a bit trickier, but again, super easy. This requires a dodging or a rolling dodge. You can't just stand there and press Q. You'll take the damage regardless. So what you do is either run left or right or in front of you or behind you, and then just press Q to roll through it, and boom, you have beaten this mechanic as well. Finally, the very last thing is don't stand in stupid. The ground is lava. This one looks gold. Don't stand in it. If it's around you, try to move out of it. And again, it should be easy. All right. Thank you guys very much again for sticking around and watching this. That completes this first guide of the first series. Again, let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions or if I missed anything. I don't think I did. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. And yeah, Chicago Bears rule. No, we don't.